here with Sunshine Creations and Crafts. Just noticed my camera had flopped down. I'm trying to adjust it. I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how I do the measurements for my gift bags according to the size of the gift that I have. Now, I'm sure that I did a video like this before, but I honestly couldn't find it in my video archive. So we're just gonna go for this. Now, I came up with this idea. I saw this Bud Vase at Hobby Lobby, and I thought, how cute would it be to put this in a gift bag? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put wires in here with the paper flowers on the top of it. I'm going to do this for my mom for Mother's Day. I have some other ideas too for her, but I wanted to go ahead and explain how exactly I do my measurements. Now, I've never been good at fractions, but I think this one is going to actually work out. This dimension is just for one of the 12 by 12 pieces of paper. So you're going to have to duplicate this in order to do the front and the back. All right, so here's how it works. You take the measurement of your gift, and this happens to be 7 1/4 by about 2 inches wide. Now it's kind of hard because this is round, but yeah, we'll deal with it. So what I've done is I've measured out my first line at 7 1/2. So let me use how about my black Sharpie here, so you can see the lines better. So I went 7 1/2 inches. That's where it stopped. Now I need a 2-inch base, so I need to add 2 more inches to the calculation of the size of the paper. And I want to add a 1 inch for, get this down in here, the flap that I fold down. That's my signature thing that I do for my gift bags. So the total amount that I want my paper to be, as far as the height goes, is going to be 1 inch plus 7 1/2 plus 2. And that is 7, 8, 9, 10 1/2 inches. Okay, now this section here is the size of my base, and I just estimated it at 2 1/2 inches. Now I'm going to want this to be a square box, makes sense, enough that the dimensions are wide enough and deep enough that that vase is going to slide down in there. So I went ahead and I'm going to do my score lines out to 2 1/2 on each side. Okay, so I'm going to need to cut my paper at 2 1/2, 2 1/2, and 2 1/2, which is 2, 4, 6, 7 1/2. So my total size paper is going to be 10 1/2 by 7 1/2. Now if I did this right, this box will turn out correctly. So let's see what we can do here. Now this is paper that I got from the Sweet Shop. It's Die Cuts with a View. It's a very old paper stack. And like I said, you need to have 2 sheets of it to do the front and the back. So we'll set that there. And so I need to do my first one at 10 1/2. And I'm going to save this, flip it around, and cut this at 7 1/2. Now while I still have it on my paper trimmer, I'm going to go ahead and score it. So I'm going to want to do 1 inch from the top, and that will be my flap. And then I'm going to go in 2 1/2 inches on the sides. Okay, so then I need to score for the bottom base, and we figured 2 inches for that. All right, now let's go ahead and cut and score this other one. 10 1/2. 7.5. Score one side 1 inch in for the flap. Do both long sides at 2.5. And then we want to do the bottom at 2 inches. Alright, so we're done with our trimmer. And we want to come in and do our cutting and our scoring. Now, what I do is I cut one of these on the score line horizontally up to that middle section, and then this one as well. And then for this one, I cut up this way. And what that does is it helps have a strong base, because you're going to be folding these up. All right, so let's go ahead and do our score lines. I'm just going to start with the top one. Now, the reason why I save these is because this particular one is not double-sided paper. I'm going to want to put that right there. Score our base. Score the sides. And who would have known that paper crafting required math? I actually was not so good in math when I was in school. But that's a whole other story. Or at least I didn't think I was learning, and then I do something like this, and I know pretty much how to do it, I think. And then that's the 1 inch flap down. Okay, now we can put our box together. Now what you want to do, just as a side note, is you want to put a piece of score tape across here to hold your flap down. So we're going to do that on both pieces of paper. And I like to do it right on the edge. Then it's a clean fold and it stays down really well. Like so. Okay, now, so it doesn't matter, you know, which is the front and which is the back, unless you don't have matching paper and you want one side to be plain and one side to be not plain. So, you know, that's up to you. Just trying to get those folds in. All right, so you have this guy here that you're going to be putting in like this, and then this is going to go like this. So the score tape that you need to do for this part is going to be on this flap right here. Now this is, I've never made a box like this before. It's always been for note cards. But I thought I'd challenge myself and do somewhat of a tutorial at the same time, because I know a couple of you wanted to see how I did this. But that, you know, this is an idea of how I calculate everything. All right, so this is going to come in like this. Set that right up here. And the flaps are a little different. Get that scored down. And what I do is I decide, you know, which one's going to be the front side and which going to be the back side. For example, like I don't want these flaps to be showing in the front. So I want it to be this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put score tape right along here. And always on the edge, and then it won't be flapping up, it won't be sticking up. On both sides. Okay, that's going to be tricky. All right. And you're also going to want to put score tape on this flap because you're going to want that to go inside there and hold on to it. Now, if you have the bigger score tape, you can use that. Probably not a bad idea, especially when you're doing the base. You know, if you're putting a Bud Vase in it, you want that to be really strong. And I'll just do 3 of that small there. And for this, I probably will not put handles on it. It's just going to be, you know, to slide that Bud Vase in there. My mom loves getting flowers, but she always says, you know, I feel so bad when you give me flowers because they just die. And I'm like, okay, I have a solution to that. I'll make her paper flowers. She can put this on her little kitchen counter there. So I want to make sure that this is even with this, which, as I'm looking at it right now, it's not turning out that way, which I don't know why, unless I miscalculated and cut the box wrong. So let me just take a look and see what I've done here. It is just a tad, a very fraction of a fraction taller. So I'm gonna kind of finagle this. I feel terrible here. I'm doing a tutorial and somehow I did not cut this correctly, I guess. So I'm just gonna slice off a tiny bit. So maybe as you were watching this, you saw that I had made an error and I didn't catch it myself. Okay, again, I'm gonna just make sure I'm pretty even there. Okay, that looks like that's gonna work. So I'm gonna flip that over, squeeze that together, try to slide that in without my score tape sticking too much until I give it a good push down. Okay, well, you know, it's slightly off, so I'm going to have to think about what I did here, and if, like I said, you guys saw what I was doing while I was cutting, you can let me know, because it's just a tiny bit, a little bit wonky there. So, and you know what, I could have put score tape right there too. That would have held that box together right there. So that's the box, that's the back side, that's the front, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this strip here down to 1 inch, and then I'll wrap it all around. And I'm gonna also maybe I could do a punch underneath this, a flower punch, or add some real pretty lace to it. Maybe even keep it that that full 2 inches. There's all kinds of things you can do. Oh, let's get the Bud Vase. Look at that, it fits. How cute is that? So I'm just gonna put my little paper flowers on their wire stem sticking out like that. All right, this is actually okay. I guess when I had it down flat, it didn't look like it was even, but I think it works out all right. All right, so I'm hoping this is more helpful than it was confusing. Let me know if you need more help on this. Do what I can. And I can do another tutorial on the note card gift bag. That one's a little easier. So, all right, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.